GM everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today is Thursday, the 9th of January, and we've got some big news, some breaking news. The DOJ has been given the green light to sell a load of Bitcoin. I'm going to go straight onto X to look at this story. You've got here, the US government has been given the green light to liquidate 69,000 Bitcoin, which is 6.5 billions worth from Silk Road. An official confirmed to DB News today. So we've obviously got the release here with today's date. So it's actually ruled on the 30th of December. So we're now obviously about 10 days after that. And this is all happening less than 2 weeks away from the new administration coming into office. So, yeah, obviously people are probably now going to be waiting for this sale to go through until they actually have the confidence to step in and buy Bitcoin. And we are seeing Bitcoin sell off fairly rapidly today. I did say on last night's emergency stream, if we do take out yesterday's low, then it looks like things will go lower and things could get quite ugly, and that seems to be what's happening. So looks like we're going to come down and retest our previous low around about 92. Obviously we're going to retest this ascending trend line as well. This ascending trend line is a big long-term important ascending trend line coming from the highs of the previous bull market. So I really do want to see this trend line held. However, it's quite difficult if you're a sort of big investor to justify buying Bitcoin when potentially there's going to be a massive sell that comes into this market and takes it lower. After that sale, I think that is the time to buy Bitcoin. And to be honest with you, there's two ways to look at this. You can either look at this and say, well, this is really negative, like Bitcoin's going to dump, we're bearish, or you can look at this and say, well, after that sale does happen and does take place, obviously people are now selling in anticipation of the sale. When that sale has taken place, people are then going to have the confidence to step in. They're going to know that this fall in price is not organic. This is not just an organic price drop. This is actually a price drop which is based on a news event, based on an event which is DOJ selling $5.6 billion worth of Bitcoins. So, and it seems like the news was probably known for the last couple of days. The Bitcoin price has been extremely weak, especially compared to the stock market. Stock market pretty much flat today. Obviously, stocks closed for the funeral of Jimmy Carter, but yes, this is not great in terms of short-term price action. But I do think when we get beyond this, hopefully in a couple of weeks' time, when we get through to the inauguration, this will all have blown out the way, and we'll see the bull market resume again. So that's the positive spin on it. There was another interesting post here from Front Runners. It says the US DOJ has been granted court approval to sell, obviously, the 69,000 Bitcoin, 6.5 billion, seized from Silk Road. Assets must be converted to cash and transferred to Treasury, so they must liquidate. Historically, sales via Coinbase Prime in the month. Okay, so early in the month. So again, we're on the 9th now, so potentially this sale does happen imminently. Short-term risks, 6.5 billion sell-off could put heavy downward pressure on Bitcoin prices. That is, of course, what we're seeing right now. Poor execution, poor execution might tank markets. If they just go to market and they start market selling Bitcoin, then of course this is going to push Bitcoin down probably well below 90,000, probably at least into the mid 80s, maybe low 80s. So that's something to be mindful of. Long-term opportunity. Historically, Bitcoin rebounds strongly after such liquidations. So that is very true. We did see a strong rebound after Germany sold. They pretty much sold the low over the summer. And then markets rebounded pretty aggressively after that. Much of this is priced in insider selling. Yeah, that's what we've just talked about. Important question is why the delay? Court ruling was 30th of December. DOJ has 5 business days to act, so why no immediate move? So they should have probably already sold, and this should be coming out. This release that we saw Today should have probably came out after the sales to stop the market sort of panicking. So it is a little bit peculiar why they've made the announcement. You would have thought after the announcement they'd sell very, very quickly to obviously sell for the best price, right? I mean, they're just now front running their own sale by spooking the market into going lower. Doesn't really make much sense. What role does the new administration play? So yeah, could somebody like a Trump sort of intervene? That seems very, very unlikely. If they've actually got a court ruling, it's like unlikely that Trump's going to obviously overrule a US court. Short-term uncertainty, long-term potential. This could be a test for Bitcoin, but history suggests resilience once the market adjusts. So yeah, I do think once this sale is out the way, then we should see hopefully some some positive price action. We can actually see the wallet as well, the DOJ wallet here that actually has the Bitcoin in it. So if it wants to load up for us, so we can see we still have the full amount of the Bitcoin. So 69,000, or should I say, yeah, 69.37 thousand Bitcoin, which is obviously the amount here. So they haven't started selling yet, according to the wallet tracking here. So obviously we will be able to see when they do start to sell. Obviously the Bitcoin price is starting to come off. So if they see the price dropping today, maybe they want to sort of crack on and get on with it. I'd probably prefer them to get on with it rather than us being stuck in uncertainty. And we'll just have a very quick look at the liquidation heat map. Not that it's going to make, I think, sort of too much of a difference with obviously everything that's going on, but we can see if there is much liquidity sat below price, which could, result in us potentially sort of going and targeting that liquidity. And to be honest with you, there's not all the liquidity is above price right now. As you probably expect, people are nervous to jump into the market here. We can look at some other time frames just on the 48-hour and the weekly to see if there's much liquidity stuck. No, 48-hour, not a lot below, maybe down to 90,000. And just looking at the weekly liquidity, so obviously give us the longer term view. Yeah, I mean it's all really sat above 102,000. Obviously the high of a couple of days ago. Traders obviously holding their shorts. No reason to sort of get out really with everything that's going on. So yeah, interesting time now for the markets. And like I say, down towards 92,000 at the moment. So let's see where we go from here. A little bit nervous, obviously, when the ETFs open up. US Open is about half an hour away, then we could see further selling. So obviously the first target is going to be this 78.6 for me. This is the 100-day moving average. And like I say, below there, things are going to be looking pretty bad. Potentially, we're going to have this low here, 85. And then probably looking at a move down into like the low 80s, around 70. Just seeing if I've got anything else on my other charts. Obviously, we do have the CME gap in the high 70s. So it could be that we come down to test, I think, initially this 87.5 area, call it 87, 85, 80. And yeah, let's see if the market really wants to open up to the downside. Then potentially we've got the 200-day moving average coming in at the low 70s. I think that would be absolute worst case scenario. I don't think the sell off or the panic would be that sort of violent personally, but yeah, we'll have to see. I have to see what how this plays out. But I am viewing this as an opportunity. I don't think the bull market's at risk. I think this really explains why we've seen the weakness over the last couple of days. Such dramatic weakness, such strong selling. I think this was probably insider traded. And like I say, we do have support below. And yeah, we just have to see what happens over the next couple of days. Obviously, Ethereum looking weak as well. So I'd expect Ethereum probably come down, retest its low. I know that this is a Bitcoin related issue, but obviously everything's correlated. If Bitcoin gets hammered, altcoins will probably get hammered even more. So it's looking like Ethereum could come down as low as this ascending trend line at 3,000. It's got its 200-day moving average. I'd be surprised if, based on where it is right now, we don't see that sort of reconnect, maybe even a sort of two handle coming on Ethereum over the next couple of days if things do start to sell off aggressively. And Solana taken out yesterday's low already. It will almost certainly, I think, target its lows and probably its 200-day moving average. And I think these 200-day moving averages on ETH and Sol probably decent areas to look at bidding. We might week through them, but I'm not expecting too much lower from those levels. And like I say, on Bitcoin, really the key is to hold this 100-day moving average. Obviously, we've got a little bit of air between current price and there right now. But like I say, if this does sort of linger on for days, even weeks, then yeah, potentially prices could just drift and drift and drift. I do think when they do sell, that will be, the moment to look to step in, and traders will look to rebuy again and get back into positions, and potentially we'll see a decent bounce and continuation of the bull run. So I'm not going to go into too much detail into any other markets here. I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Obviously, pretty specific update today, obviously around this breaking news. So yes, stay safe out there, and I'll be back potentially later on for another emergency stream. If not, I'll be back again on the next GM tomorrow. So take care. Have a good one. GM.